Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Joselia Padilla, and today's presentation is about content governance. I'm here to help you grasp the concept of content governance. I'm here to help you how to make your website more user-friendly and have the appropriate content on it. First, what is content governance? Content governance is creating and maintaining content on your website. You might be wondering if that's all. Well, there's actually 4 steps to content life cycle. Number 1 is to request and understand the purpose of the content, create and access and workflow of the content, manage, understand ownership and review cycles, and last, retire, act on the threshold during the request stage. I'm going to describe each process to the best in the most understanding way. Number 1, request and understand the purpose of content. All right, so when you start a project, you need to understand and comprehend why you're doing this project, where you're going to place the information on the website, when you're going to take it down, and how you're going to use it. In this stage, you're literally getting all the information from the client or the person to best fit into this website and for it to be more manageable for anyone visiting it. Number 2, it's to create access and workflow for the content. So now that you have all the information from the client, it's time for you to determine the access. So it is helpful to apply access rights so that the content ends up being visible for the user that relates to it. For example, if you create a website for a college and you start putting the content in and you don't have information or restrictions for certain users, you might get this example up here. A student gets access to a test bank and prints it out. She ends up getting an A, and she ends up distributing all that information to her classmates who end up cheating in the class. Basically, when you create access and workflow of the content on a website, you put limited access to certain people, which will make it easier for people to find what they're looking for. Third step is to manage and understand ownership and review cycle. What does this mean? Basically, managing a website, you must update the site to reflect ownership changes. You must update quarterly, monthly, or as needed. This phase will focus on updating content and the metadata associated with it. Remember, if you manage correctly, you update the information correctly, plus you govern the information, you'll have an equivalence of a well reflection of ownership. What is metadata? You might be confused. Well, metadata is the data about data. It's the descriptive information about a particular set, object, or resource, including how it's formatted and when and by who it's collected. So when we say manage the metadata, we mean manage everything that's on the website on an active basis. Number 4, which is our final step, it's basically the retire stage. Retire, act on the threshold during the request stage. In this stage, you have to remember that simplicity and consistent updating can keep your site clutter-free. An example to your left, it's a lot of information on a website that is a sports website, but is not actively updated, which can cause the user to be confused and frustrated on the site. It's an unattractive clutter. Keep information relevant. Removing or archiving might be the key here. If you know that things are not as up to date, take the information off the site. If there's certain parts of the site which are dealt by different departments of the organization, such as a university, make sure that everyone stays on top of it and updates constant information on it. When removing non-relevant content, it will make the site more usable and quicker to navigate and manage. Remember, easy environment to navigate equals a happy, happy, and excited user. Now, we're wrapping up. Just don't forget, in order to have perfect content governance in your website, you must understand your content. Number 2, create a good workflow with security measures. Number 3, manage your content frequently. Updating is the key. Number 4, retire out the old and in with the new. Remember, finally, that when you have great content, it makes it easier for users to be happy and excited with your website. Thank you for coming today and learning about content governance.